On October 3, 2025, Humboldt Park Hospital's emergency room became the site of a dramatic standoff between Alderperson Jessie Fuentes and armed federal agents. The hospital, usually a place of healing, was transformed into a battleground over rights and authority. Fuentes, representing Chicago's 26th Ward, was handcuffed and briefly detained by agents believed to be from ICE. The confrontation unfolded in full view, sparking outrage as videos spread rapidly across the city. Fuentes arrived after learning ICE agents had brought an injured man to the ER, raising immediate concerns about the man's rights and the agent's presence in a sensitive public space. She demanded to see a judicial warrant and questioned the agent's authority to deny the man legal counsel. The situation escalated quickly. An agent spun Fuentes around and cuffed her, sending shockwaves through Chicago. The image of a city official restrained in a hospital ignited debate about federal power, local rights, and the safety of all residents seeking care. To grasp the impact of the hospital incident, you need to know Jessie Fuentes. As alderperson for the 26th Ward, Fuentes represents a vibrant Puerto Rican community with a legacy of activism and resilience. Her leadership is rooted in grassroots organizing. She's fought for affordable housing, education, and public safety. Fuentes is known for her fierce advocacy and willingness to confront injustice head-on. In her ward, issues like immigration and federal enforcement are daily realities, not distant debates. Chicago's sanctuary policies are personal for Fuentes, whose work to protect mixed-status families from fear and separation. When federal agents handcuffed her, it wasn't just an attack on one official. It felt like an assault on the entire community's right to representation. For many, the sight of Fuentes restrained by ICE was a chilling message. Their voices and values were under threat. The confrontation at Humboldt Park Hospital was captured on video and quickly went viral. Fuentes approached the agents demanding to see a signed judicial warrant, a higher legal standard than ICE's usual administrative paperwork. She stood her ground, reminding agents that the detained man had constitutional rights, including access to an attorney. Fuentes never used force. Her only weapon was her knowledge of the law. The agents, however, saw her questions as interference. On video, an agent warned Fuentes to leave or face arrest for impeding a federal investigation. When she refused to back down, the agent grabbed her, cuffed her, and led her out as if she were a criminal. She was released soon after, but not before being threatened with formal arrest if she returned. The act of detaining an elected official for defending constitutional rights sent a clear message: dissent would not be tolerated. The incident became a flashpoint in the ongoing struggle over the limits of federal authority. The ICE agents at the hospital were pursuing a specific man who was injured during their chase and brought to the ER. Hospitals are supposed to be sensitive locations where enforcement is discouraged so people aren't afraid to seek care. But ICE claimed a hot pursuit exception, justifying their presence and actions inside the hospital. The agents kept the man under constant watch, reportedly denying him access to attorneys who arrived to help. This raised urgent questions about his right to counsel, a basic protection in the American legal system. Despite Fuentes' intervention, ICE took the man into custody, showing that federal priorities overrode concerns about medical sanctuary and legal rights. The episode left the community shaken, highlighting the power imbalance between local advocates and federal agents. After her release, Fuentes didn't stay silent. She sounded the alarm for all of Chicago. If they can handcuff an elected official for doing nothing, imagine what they're doing to residents, she told reporters. Her words resonated deeply, exposing a fear that if city leaders aren't safe, ordinary people are even more vulnerable. Fuentes broadened the issue beyond immigration, warning that the erosion of rights for one group threatens everyone. Her statement turned a local incident into a citywide call to action, validating the anxieties of many Chicagoans. She argued that ICE's tactics weren't just about immigration, they were an attack on civil liberties for all. Fuentes' outcry galvanized the community, challenging Chicago to confront the reality of unchecked federal power. Her message became a rallying cry for those demanding accountability and justice. The city's response was swift and forceful. Mayor Brandon Johnson condemned the federal agents' actions, calling the handcuffing of Fuentes a direct attack on Chicago's autonomy and democratic values. He emphasized that elected officials, and all citizens, have a First Amendment right to observe and question law enforcement. By detaining Fuentes, the agents were, in his words, trying to suppress oversight and transparency. Johnson's statement elevated the incident to a citywide crisis, framing it as a battle for Chicago's right to self-governance. His strong words gave cover to other officials and reassured residents that city leadership stood with them. The mayor's condemnation made clear Chicago would not be intimidated by federal overreach. The fallout inside Humboldt Park Hospital was immediate. Fear and panic swept through the ER. Some undocumented patients fled before receiving care, more afraid of ICE than their own medical emergencies. Activists scrambled to help people leave safely, while the presence of agents turned the hospital into a place of dread. The fear didn't stop at the hospital doors. It spread through the neighborhood as ICE vehicles circled outside, heightening anxiety. Residents saw this as intimidation, a warning that nowhere was truly safe. The incident undermined years of trust building between officials and the community. When people are too afraid to seek help or call the police, public health and safety suffer. The hospital standoff left a lasting scar, reinforcing the message that federal enforcement could reach anyone, anywhere. The handcuffing of Fuentes was just one episode in a wave of aggressive federal actions across Chicago. Days earlier, a massive pre-dawn raid in South Shore saw ICE, CBP, FBI, and ATF agents storm homes, making dozens of arrests and terrifying entire families. Residents described military-style tactics: doors smashed, property damaged, even children restrained. The same day as the hospital incident, federal agents in Logan Square deployed tear gas on a public street, affecting bystanders, including a toddler. These events fueled the perception that federal agents were operating with impunity, disregarding community safety. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and Border Patrol Chief Greg Bovino were both seen leading or supporting these operations. The pattern was clear: a coordinated, intensified campaign of federal enforcement, increasingly confrontational and dismissive of local authority. Chicago's neighborhoods were left traumatized, with trust in government at a breaking point. The city was now a battleground in a larger struggle over who truly holds power. The Fuentes incident symbolizes the deepening rift between Chicago and the federal government. This isn't just about immigration. It's a battle over values, power, and who gets to protect the city's residents. President Trump's inflammatory rhetoric, including suggesting Chicago be used as a military training ground, only heightened tensions. Local leaders, including Governor Pritzker and Mayor Johnson, pushed back, threatening legal action and denouncing federal threats. In response, the Department of Homeland Security planned to deploy National Guard troops, not to help but to shield ICE from protesters. The handcuffing of Fuentes became a physical manifestation of this larger conflict. It showed federal agents were willing to use force against local officials who stood in their way. For Chicagoans, the message was clear. Political battles in Washington had real, dangerous consequences on their streets. The city remains a flashpoint in a national debate, its people caught in the crossfire.